This conference will now be recorded.
We entered into black box testing. Let me revise the things what we did so far, and then I'll go for next topic. First, we'll discuss about white box. White box is purely done by developer. Need not worry. White box. What is the purpose of going with white box? The main reason going with white box is just to verify the code, what the code written by developer, the source code what they written. They need to ensure the code is working correctly. There are no mistakes. There are no runtime errors in the code what they written. They have to overcome all these problems. Then only they can hand over that project to testing department. So what we are getting from developer is we are getting a build, or we are getting AUT. People also call AUT, application under test, or we also call it as BUILD, build. Build means a software or application which is integrated with some features or items. They integrate it, and before we deliver it to into customer or into production or into UAT testing, first of all we need to do black box testing. We have to perform system testing on that software, and then only we'll deploy that into UAT testing or production, whatever may be. Okay, and in that, after completion of white box testing, like techniques we discussed, white unit testing, integration testing, and then we came back to our black box. In that black box is nothing but system testing. So there we use different techniques. But remember, all of you guys, in real scenarios, I told you there are two types of departments even for testing. One is called functional department and one is called non-functional department. Functional testing tools always we go with Selenium or QTP. Performance testing, especially performance testing, we have a separate department again. We are learning number of techniques here, but doesn't mean that we implement all these techniques on one project. It's our responsibility to learn all the techniques. But once we go to real scenarios, it doesn't mean that we implement all these techniques on one project. It all depends upon the type of the project. It all depends upon the requirements we receive from the client, and your leader, your manager will decide which techniques can be implemented on your project. Okay, so need not worry about that. And then in that non-functional testing, yesterday last class we discussed about usability, graphical user interface testing. It's very simple. Usability means always think about our general life, our cosmetics, what we are using cosmetics. Cosmetics only look and feel, that's it. Attraction. Cosmetics are only we are using attraction, only for attraction purpose. Nowadays we don't believe natural beauty, we believe artificial beauty. That beauty comes with what? With a lot of colors, lot of designing, right? So any project, you test any project, usabilities are common here. Usabilities are commonly we test them, so no need to worry about them. Security testing. Security testing, we don't do complete security testing on any project. We go with some part of securities like authentication and authorization. Minimum basics we have to do manually. Authorization testing means we have to ensure as an admin user or a system administrator of any project, we have to ensure that as a system administrator he has rights or not. Means what kind of rights it can have as administrator. As administrator I can define users. As administrator I can set privileges. As administrator I can change privileges. Lot of things I can do as a authorization. But authentication is given to whom? To the user who is going to work on your application. But that fellow will have limited access. That means as a tester, what is your responsible? You should log into your application as admin and you have to validate, And also again you have to log in as user and you have to validate whether that valid user is able to use the right information. Means whatever you have access, you should be able to access to that application. Like yesterday, something like, see, basic things you check for authentication testing, like check does critical information such as passport, credit card numbers are getting encrypted or not. 100%. That should not be visible to us. And we have to check direct URL access also. Any security related application, you should not be in a position of accessing directly, especially security related applications. What I told you, when it suppose you log into your any banking application, online banking, if you copy down that URL and if you paste it to another tab, you should not access. If it is accessing, it's very dangerous. And every security application will have some session expiry. Online applications, 100%. Go and check that whether developer has developed within that session expiry time, whether your application is getting expired within that given time or not. And also we have to check the navigation backward, forward. Once we session out, one session got expired, go and check it out. It should not, the backward button should not work, forward button should not work once we get session out. So that kind of testing we have to do in security. But in-depth security people, that is different process. You have to know some network knowledge. That is different process. Okay. And next technique is recovery testing. Yes. Recovery. What is meant by recovery? Every applications will have some conditions here. When customer can accept abnormal situations, basically, at what cases he can accept that abnormal conditions? Like suppose, say for example, system getting crashes. Unexpectedly, your system getting crashes. It is acceptable. Your server is getting down. It is acceptable. Your database get disconnected. That is acceptable. But these things happens rarely. They don't happen every day. But what is not acceptable here? Every 1 hour my system is getting hangover. Assume that, for example, for every 1 hour, every half an hour, my application is getting abnormal. It's going to abnormal. Abnormal in the sense like what? Hanging up. Suppose in a Chrome or Firefox browser or Chrome browser, you open number of tabs. Yes, you open number of tabs here. You open number of tabs and you navigate to different URLs here, right? Assume that. Suddenly, there is a power cut. There is a power cut suddenly. See, recovery testing means we must do forcibly. We have to do forcibly. Balavant padala. We have to do forcibly. What I can do now, I can't say power cut, power cut. Restart your system immediately without closing this browser. Restart your system. When I restart my system, try to open your Chrome browser again. When you launch your Chrome browser, it will be asking one option. What is that option? Restore previous sessions. It will be asking you restore previous sessions. Yes or no? If it is restoring that previous sessions correctly, well and good. You should restore all the data where you are. You should take to the respective pages again. You should not go back to home pages again. If it is going back to home pages, we can open manually. Why again restoring it again, right? So that means recovery testing should be done forcibly. Sometimes you are reformatting your systems. You are formatting your system, some situations. And at that time, you will be taking some backups. What are important files you have, you will take some backups. Once you get restarted your system, once you formatted your system, you restore that data or not? You should be able to restore that complete data, compulsory. So that means recovery testing means it is our responsibility to ensure that our application is able to recover from abnormal conditions to normal conditions or not. Abnormal conditions to normal conditions. That's what. Checking does the system is having a provision of backup and restore options or not. And also how does system is handling unpredictable situations such as power failure, system crashes, hardware failures, any failures, etc. etc. We should able to react immediately. Every time hangover means customer cannot work on your software. They don't accept that. I told you some conditions to accept. Customer should accept for that condition. What that conditions? Unexpectedly server down. He should accept. No other option you have. Your ATM, every time hangover ATM means what the purpose of that ATM then? You're purchasing a mobile. In mobile we have these options, restoring options compulsory. Every 1 hour your mobile is getting hangover means you don't accept that mobile. At what time it can go for hangover? Maybe because of virus attack or because of overload. That is acceptable. But every 1 hour when I'm working on that, every half an hour, 1 hour, it's getting hangover means that's not acceptable. So we have to check that way. As a tester, we have to check forcibly. Forcibly should be done recovery testing. That means recovery is ensuring that are we able to recover from abnormal conditions to normal conditions or not. Such testing is called as recovery testing, or people also call it as reliability testing also. Okay. And next thing is, before we get into performance testing, here we have to discuss very important testing called as compatibility testing. Some people call backward compatibility also. Some people call forward compatibility, and some people call it as browser compatibility. Some people will be asking OS compatibility. Different compatibilities we have. What is this compatibility? Very important nowadays. It's very important testing. Why? Because you see any product in the market, we have a lot of latest things in the market, right? So whatever applications we are developing to the customer and what platform is expecting, it should be compatible in that platform. That means test whether application is same as expected in all environment or not is known as compatibility testing. Environment is nothing but it's a combination of operating systems and browser. It's a combination of what? Operating system and browser. Comparative testing is also known as cross-browser testing and cross-platform testing also. What is cross-browser testing means? Test any web application in all targeted customer expected browsers like Firefox, Safari, Google, Chrome, etc. etc. That is called what? Cross-browser testing. What is cross-platform testing means? Execute your application test cases on various platforms like Windows operating system, Linux, Mac, Solaris, lot of whatever client is expecting, not what is available in the market, what client is expecting. We need to test, we need to execute them. But here my question is, suppose say for example, I am giving flipkart.com, Flipkart application. Assume that for this Flipkart you written 50 test cases. For example, assume that you have done 50 test cases on this flipkart.com. Now, this Flipkart is not used by one fellow. It will be used by number of people in the market. And different people go with different compatibilities, 100%. Am I right? I may use this in Chrome. One fellow will use in Firefox. One fellow will work on Internet Explorer. One fellow he may launch it in Safari browser, Opera browser. One fellow will be launching on Windows operating system. One fellow will be launching on XP, Mac. Different things, right? But Flipkart people, they should make sure that If this application is compatible in all that aspects or not, then what is your responsible as a tester? Suppose there are three testers in my company, three testers, assume that. What three testers will be doing? Your leader, what your leader will do? He'll assign that 50 test cases to all three testers and he'll ask them to test on various operating systems and browsers. That's it, nothing more. Now, I am one fellow testing on Chrome, one fellow testing on Firefox. I'm opening Flipkart in Firefox also. When I'm trying to launch my Flipkart in Firefox, what is your observation while doing on different browsers here? What should be your observation, tester observation, while doing compatibility testing? Anybody? What should be your observation? Functionality wise, it's working fine. What you see? I open in Firefox, I open Flipkart in Chrome also. What should be your keen observation here?
We'll check for the
Huh?
we'll check for the alignments.
Okay. We'll check for alignments. Okay. Yes. Your observation, very good observation. Important observation is important here. Hmm. That's it. See, your observation. See, when I'm opening in Firefox or Chrome, very important for customers here is loading GUI elements. GUI, graphical user interfaces. Whatever things got loaded in Chrome browser, same thing should load in Firefox also. I don't give different offers in different browsers, right? Offers are common to any browser. Am I right? Offers are common to any operating system. Will they give different offers like that? No, right? So that means, see, your keen observation while doing compatibility testing, try to ensure loading of this images, loading images. These loading images are very important for this Flipkart. Whatever loading in Firefox, whatever loading in IE browser, you should load everything perfectly in all browsers. There should not be any changes to browser. Loading should not be changing. It should be same to all the browsers. Then only customer can work on this. Customer can use this application based on their business point of view. Something loading differently in Firefox, something loading differently in Chrome means it won't be acceptable, right? So here GUI loading is very important during compile, nothing more you do. You'll execute on different platforms, you execute on different browsers, I don't care, but your observation is what? We have to observe that your application is correctly loading or not with all images, with all GUI loading, because interface is very important for customer. That's what I'm saying. If I assign a project, they'll assign like this. One fellow will run on Windows. In Windows, we'll ask them to run on all browsers, whatever customer expectation browsers. Again, one fellow will be running on Linux. In Linux, he'll be running on all browsers. In Mac also he'll be running. But your observation, see, during compatibility testing, whenever we are performing compatibility testing, we need to concentrate more on GUI of the application, graphical user interface. Loading of that element is very important here. Such testing is called what? Compatibility. That's what. What is backward compatibility? Anybody? What is backward compatibility testing? Backward. Suppose, assume that your Flipkart has updated with a new version here, and it's supporting on all latest versions. But customer suddenly want on old versions. He want to work on old versions on that newly updated version. You're going back to old versions. Such testing is called backward compatibility. Checking your updated version in lower versions. Sometimes forward compatible means going forward. Forward means latest, working on latest things. So they may ask you different ways, forward, backward, both are same. But backward means what? The latest version, what we develop now, it should be compatible even on old versions also. Sometimes clients will ask us, go and check them. You're nothing, what is your responsible here? Very simple. Whatever test case you prepared, you go and execute them. That's it. You don't develop it and you don't do anything. None of your business. It is done by developer only. You go and execute them. Is it supporting on that old versions or not? When you try to execute that latest version and old version, that is called what? Backward compatibility. When you're testing your latest version and the latest versions are called what? Forward compatibility. That's the meaning here. But we do compatibility, but your observation is what? GUI loading of the application. GUI loading should be done perfectly. Ensure it everything is loading correctly or not. Such testing is called what? Compatibility testing. Okay. And next, one more testing in non-functional testing is performance testing. Yes. What is meant by performance testing? When do we go with performance testing? Generally, in real scenario. That's what I told you. Don't worry. We are learning Selenium anyway. We are learning Selenium. Selenium is a functional testing tool. So no need to worry about performance. For interview purpose, we are learning this. Because we are not learning load runner. Yes or no? So don't, but interview point of view. But remember, in real scenarios, performance testing should be done only after completion of functional testing. Any reason for that? Why? Why can't we do directly performance testing? Why you want to do performance testing only after completion of functional testing? What is the reason? Yes, the reason is, as a functional tester, what you're doing, you're validating each and every functionality at least for one user. It should work at least for one user. And you're making free from bugs for one user. Then apply your load. Performance means what? We are not testing for one user. Performance testing is no validation. Functional testing is validation. Performance testing is estimations. Performance testing is not done for one user. We are going with multiple user. Customer expected load. Load means number of users. Why? Performance testing is mostly used to identify any bottlenecks or performance issues rather than finding bugs in software. Finding bugs is done by a functional tester there. That's what I'm telling. Rather than finding bugs, we are estimating the performance. Performance but what? That can be response time, elapsed time, hits per second, throughputs, window is lot of graphs. Performance is completely graph related. Bottlenecks. Bottlenecks means any issues in the software in terms of loading or in terms of anything. So there are different causes which will lower your performance of your software. You're telling my system is loading very slow. My application is loading very slowly, sir. Why? Some issues that. It may be network delay. This is also one of the issue. Performances. Important is network compulsory. Very important is network. Client-side processing. What is that client-side processing? When I'm trying to search something in Flipkart.com, when I'm searching something in Flipkart.com, if it is loading, after 1 to 3 minutes, it is displaying these things. Assume that, for example. This is what client-side processing. It's happening. App process is happening. That's one of the big headache for customers. Database transaction processing. Sometimes. Load balancing between servers. We use number of servers. Server to server load balancing is also important. Data rendering. Retrieving data from where? From database. That's what. Performance testing is considered as one of the important and mandatory type of testing the following aspects like what? Speed. First important, speed. Response time. Data rendering. Accessing data. How fast it is responding to client. When enter www.gmail.com or flipkart.com, you know what is happening? That URL, it's hitting the server. That URL what you're typing, hitting server. And server is responding you. How much time it took to respond? We have to check that calculations. Graph level, it's completely graph level. So speed of the application, capacity of the application, stability of the application, scalability of the application. That's what I'm telling. Performance testing is done by separate department, a separate team called performance testers, not by functional testers. But here, two subtypes we have in performance. One is called load testing and one is called stress testing. What is load testing? See, when you try to observe your system, when I right click to mouse, task manager, when I go with performance here, it shows complete graph related. Look at that. This is CPU usage history. How much it shows in graph level. How much of usage I'm using. And this is memory. How much memory I'm using. If I try to launch different things over here, if I keep on launching different options over here, what will happen? Your memory will keep on increase, usage also will keep, the graph will be up and down always. It goes down. If I close all these options over here, whatever I opened, if I keep on closing all this, if I keep on closing all these folders, everything what I opened here, what will happen again? Memory will decrease. At the same time, if I keep on closing all these options what I opened here, look at the performance now, the graph. Initially, it is high and again it came down, again it gone up, again it will come down. So, see, percentage will be changing, usage percentage. 64, 50 at the graph, every 1 second it's changing. So, performance means the best example for performance is pulse rate of a patient. Pulse rate of a patient. Every 1 second, every 1 minute, doctor will check the pulse rate of a patient, right? You see the graph of that. If it is straight line, completed. It should be up and down. Heart beating should keep on beating hard. Heart beating will not be one level. It goes up and down, different options. So here, resource monitor. We can check resource monitor also here. See network, how much network you've been utilized in your system for every second. Network for every 60 seconds. And how much local area network connection you're using. Sometimes up, sometimes low. It goes on. Every 1 Mbps it shows the graphs. That's what I'm saying. Performance testing means it all depends upon the graphs. Complete graph, memory, how much memory allocated, how much CPU memory, overview of this entire overview. It shows everything graph related. Every 1 second you see that. So functional testing means validation, giving inputs and validating. Performance testing means evaluating the execution level of your application. That's what see. What is load testing means? It is a process of testing behavior of the software by applying maximum load in terms of software accessing and manipulating large input data. Load means what? First of all, load means number of users. Maximum load, take customer given load. He may give 10 users or 20 users or 30 users, whatever the load he is giving you. Take that load, apply that load. Where your application is accessing more number of data, you apply on that. You go and apply on that. It can be done at both normal and peak load conditions. Normal load means general load. Peak load means beyond that load. So we have checked normally and we have checked peak load also of that application. So this type of testing identifies maximum capacity of software and its behavior at peak time. So to ensure how much capacity when you go with large number of data, when number of users are logged in normal, how much capacity is taking, we have to cover it. This is what I told you, we have to observe graphs complete. That for that, most of the time, load testing is performed by the help of some tools like Load Runner, App Loader. These are all tools. IBM Rational Performance Tester, Apache JMeter, Silk Performance, Visual Studio Load Test. All these are performance testing tools. We have separate department for that. So load means we are checking at a time. But what about stress testing? What is stress? Putting a pressure. Stress testing includes testing the behavior of the software under abnormal condition. Abnormal conditions. What is abnormal? For example, if we take a Flipkart, what is abnormal? When we use Flipkart most of the time, August 2 to 6, I think August 2 to 6 or 7. Amazon people, they're giving you some kind of offers, right? At the time of August 2 to 6, application will be busy with number of users. And at that time, what we do is first come, first serve. They're doing business here. They don't allow everybody. First come, first serve. Once it reaches reload, automatically it shut down. Means for next users, it won't allow to access the data. That means stress testing means what? We are going beyond the customer expected load. It may include taking some away resources, applying a load beyond actual load. And when you apply load beyond load, suppose my Flipkart allows only 1 lakh people. Assume that for example. Normally it allows 1 lakh. During offer times, number of people will log in to flipkart.com. How long I should allow? 20 lakhs people. After 20 lakhs, automatically it should go for serve down. They'll prepare the code in that way. If they allow 50 lakhs people, they may lose their business. In the sense, business losing means nothing but they have to sell their products in a cheap way. So they have their own tricks over there. That's what. What is the aim of this stress testing means? The aim of this stress testing is to test the software by applying the load to the system and taking over resources used by software to identify breaking point. At what time it's going to break? At what load it's going to break? You go and identify it. The testing can be performed by testing different scenarios such as shutdown or restart of network ports randomly. They keep on doing this kind of things. See, randomly means instead of at a time taking away restarting your networks, randomly they do such kind of things, putting some pressure on that application. Turning database on off, on off, on off. Do it. Run different process which consumes more CPU, which occupies more memory. Do something. So when do this kind of things, when you put some pressure on application only, we'll understand at what time it's getting breakpoint. So load is at a time we are checking. Stress testing means we are checking beyond the customer expected load to find out at what point your application is going to break. Such testing is called what? Performance. In that performance, load and stress comes under that only. Is it clear to all of you guys? That's what. A separate department will be taking care. Don't worry. It's none of your business. Just only for interview purpose we are learning these techniques. Okay? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. And next, we need to learn some more techniques. End-to-end testing. What is meant by end-to-end testing? When do we go with end-to-end testing generally? This is very important also at the same time. End-to-end testing means, assume that you tested your Gmail here. You've done your testing on the Gmail. But before releasing to customer, now your leader is asking to test that Gmail in terms of end-to-end. That means, how you test end-to-end testing means, it is tester responsible to identify all user scenarios. We have to identify the end users scenarios. When I release my product to production side, how end users are going to work on your application, identify that scenarios and check them, are they working as expected or not. Like see, for example, Gmail, end-to-end scenario for create account, log in, log out. This is when I release my Gmail, the first scenario customers work is, he'll create account, he will log in and log out. Check it out. Go and check that end-to-end scenario, working or not. Suppose I want to compose a mail. Again, he has to log in. perform this compose mail, send a mail, and then log out. So when I release to my customer, this is how the way customer will work on it. I want to save my email, log in, compose a mail, save it, check in draft, and log out. I want reply a mail, log in, open a mail, click reply, send it, log out. So when I'm trying to release my product to production side, how end users are going to work on your software, identify such scenarios, execute in that way, and ensure that they are working fine. So that's what we are calling end-to-end testing, end-to-end testing. At the same time, we have some more techniques, like say important techniques called as. Before that, we'll discuss regression, smoke, sanity. Before that, I would like to discuss about static and dynamic. That already static. What is static here? All of you know that. Static means testing application without performing any action. Best example is called verification, right? Verification is also called a static only. Example, GUI testing and checking the availability of fields in the phases or validations comes under static testing. The best example is usability testing. Just now we discussed usability. We don't validate it. We don't want to execute your software. We are checking the color with eyes. We are checking the design structure of the software. But whereas dynamic testing means what? Test the application by performing some action is known as dynamic testing. Like regression testing, retesting, ad hoc testing. Different techniques we are going to perform. Such testing is called what? Dynamic testing also. So what are dynamic testing means? We discuss performance testing is a dynamic testing. Functional testing is a dynamic testing. What we do, regression testing is a dynamic. We have to test them. By running the software is called dynamic. Without running software is called static only. Even code reviews also come under static. Such thing is called static and dynamic. But what is globalization testing? How you do globalization testing? Generally, globalization testing has two types. One is called localization testing and one is called internationalization testing. Localization, internationalization testing. What is localization testing? Localization. No, we don't develop, don't worry. Developer will develop and give. There are some applications which are designed for specific reason people. Local languages, like if you take Google application, Google, especially Google. In Google, in ATM also, a best example we can take ATM. ATM also, it's allowing us to translate your language, right? See, if you take Google application, in this Google application, if I want see in Telugu, if I click on Telugu, it should translate that into Telugu. That means developer internally written some language for that. If I want Hindi, I should be able to translate to Hindi. If I want English, I should go back to English. If I want Kannada, I should be able to translate to Kannada. If I want Malayalam, I should go and translate to Malayalam. Gujarati, something. So different languages. Indian people have different regional languages. Is it translating or not? Is the application is translating or not? That is our responsibility. We don't design all these things. That kind of testing is called what? Localization testing. So test application in all local languages which are selective to our country like Hindi, Bengali, Telugu, etc. is known as localization testing. This localization testing supports maximum of 10 languages for single integration. Developer can integrate 10 languages at a time. Hence we call it as lion testing also. Other name for localization is lion testing. As I told you, Google, you check all languages translating or not. ATM machine also. When I select Hindi, it should translate to Hindi. When I select Telugu, it should translate to Telugu. When I select English, it should translate to English accordingly. Right? So such kind of testing is called what? Localization. But what about internationalization testing? Yes, we are developing some softwares not only for one particular country, to all countries, all respect to countries. Is it possible in Gmail? Suppose in Gmail, is it possible to change this language to any other language here? Can you change to any other language? I want into Telugu. Can I change this to Telugu? In Gmail? I don't know English. I want translate to Telugu. Is it possible? In Gmail?
No, sir.
No. Right? Yes. I can do it. At the bottom, they gave languages here. If you choose your Telugu, it will translate that into Telugu perfectly. It all depends on the language. It's not for one country, it's for all countries. If I want Canada, it should translate to Canada. If I want any other language which I want, suppose other than our Indian language, Indonesia, it should be able to translate to that language, respect to regional language. Translating or not, the application which is designed for international application, it should be able to translate all languages. Then only customer can work on it. I want East something, some other country language. You should be able to translate to respect to language again. Is it translating or not? So, internationalization testing is nothing but test the application all international languages like Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, etc. is known as international testing. It supports maximum of 18 languages. 18 languages for single integration. That's what we call it as L18N testing. L18N testing. Best example, you can take Gmail in all international languages like Japan, lot of language which I shown you. You should translate here compulsory. You should translate. Check it out. Is it translating or not? Lot of countries are there. Different countries over here. Different types of countries we have. You should be able to translate to the respective regional language. English means you should take United States. You should go back to respective regional language again. Okay, so that kind of testing is called what? Globalization testing. We can do testing in local. Is it translating to local regional language or not? Is it translating to international languages or not? Both ways we need to verify. Such testing is called what? Globalization, nothing more. See, our testing is very simple here. We are not designing it. It's all done by developer. We are ensuring only. We are ensuring they are working correctly or not. Okay, and very important things we need to learn here is what is meant by smoke testing, what is meant by sanity testing. What is sanity? What is smoke? Generally, people will be asking you. Smoke testing. Smoke testing purely generally in companies point of view, smoke testing is performed by developers basically. After completion of integration testing, means after integrating the software, before they hand over to testing department, they have to check the basic things on the software. That means initially the development team, once the build is ready, they will deploy into development environment and perform smoke test. They will check each and every module related fields and check that everything is properly navigating or not. I don't want to send to testers without checking it. If all these fields are properly navigating to related phases, then they'll conclude that smoke testing is passed and the build will release to testing department. In some people are saying smoke testing is done by testing team. You see in websites. testing is done by smoke test is done. But real time point of view, basically, see, excuse me, we cannot do that. If after integrating, they don't know which is working, which is not working. First, developer has to confirm it. After doing smoke testing, then releasing to testing department, and you guys, you are performing sanity testing. What is sanity testing means? Very simple. The very first testing you perform in real time is sanity only. Remember, anytime, anywhere, the first testing you perform sanity only. For example, you are planning to purchase one fridge in a showroom. What is sanity testing? How you do sanity testing on that fridge? First, basic things. We have to check the basics of that fridge. What that basic means? Open the door, close the door. Opening door, close door is basic, very important for a fridge. If the door is not opening correctly, if the door is not closing correctly, if it is a very good, fantastic fridge, no use. Basics, nobody can give guarantee on basics, right? And then next, inside that fridge, we have to verify all the tracks. Lot of tracks will be given. Any chance, any broken tracks, we don't know. Anything may happen. It has come from transport. Anything may happen. So basic needs we have to verify before we start working on it. That's what this sanity testing has different names. People call BVT. BVT stands for Build Verification Testing. Build Verification Testing. BLT stands for Baseline Testing. Baseline, see that word. Baseline means basement. Basics are important. TAT, Test Acceptance Testing. Test Acceptance Testing. OT, Octangle Testing. Octangle, OT, 8 factors we check during sanity. What are that 8 factors? Understandable. Go and check is applications understandable or not. Go and check is application under maintainable or not. Go and check your application is having testable characters or not. Are you able to test it or not? Is it fit for testing or not? Go and check is it compatible in operatable, compatibly operatable. Is it operating correctly? Check it is it controllable or not. Is it having simplicity or not? Go and check is having consistency, automable. So these factors we are ensuring during sanity testing to make sure that your build what we are getting from developer is stable or not. If the build is stable, accept for testing. It can be manual testing or automation testing or you can do any testing. Unstable. Unstable means what? Any basic issues like understandable, maintenance, testable, anything. Reject that build and hand over back to developer again. That means that once the build is deployed into development environment, the testing will perform sanity testing in test environment. You have to deploy again. That is called sanity. In sanity testing, the testing team will perform at least one round on the application and check that whether data is properly navigating or not. One round, go and check, ensure all the links and all that. If sanity testing is passed, the testing team will execute all the test cases. If it is failed, they reject the build and to the development team. If pass, accept and start executing your test case. If it is failed, reject that bill and hand out back to developer again. So that's what I say. Once sanity testing is performed, the testing team or test lead has to send a mail with sanity test results to the development team. Once you are done, your leader will send a mail to developer. Yes, we are accepting your build. We are accepting build. We are going for further testing. That's what see. Sanity testing means first developer, he will develop it. He will send that build to testing department and it will be deployed in your system. And what you're doing here, you're performing sanity testing on that. After performing sanity testing, if it is pass, you're accepting it and you go for executing your remaining test cases, either manual testing or automation testing. If it is fail, you're rejecting that build and sending back to developers again. So there is no way you have to reject immediately. But remember, during sanity testing, there is no need to report defect. Yeah? Don't report defect. It's a basic issues. Inform them. Just a mail to them. Tell your problem, what you're facing. Accordingly, they'll solve your problem and send back to you. So such kind of testing is called what? Sanity testing and smoke testing. And remaining very interesting tomorrow. Regression testing, one by one we'll discuss them. Okay guys? We'll go for remaining techniques. Soon we'll start our STLC and we'll start our practical oriented also that. Okay? See you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Bye bye.